Okay. So when we discuss about the origin and development, so law of tort first originated in England, then it has come to India through the Britishers. Because whatever administration of justice system nowadays we are following, that is been brought by the Britishers to India. So likewise the Indian Penal Code, likewise the Code of Criminal Procedure, the Evidence Act, and various laws. The law of tort is being brought by the Britishers to from Britain to India. Okay. So first, let us discuss about how law of tort actually originated in England. Okay. So in 11th century, in the year 1066, so the French people, or then they were like called as Norman, they had invaded England for the first time. When they had invaded England, then the administration of justice system in England was not organized, or it is purely being disorganized. There is no such like system, institutions who are involved in giving justice system, and mostly then Europe has no big set of like countries or states. That time when in the year 1066 or around 11th century, Europe was not unified in big states. From that, those things, the processes have like started, like unification of Italy, unification of Germany has started. But then Europe as a continent was not divided into big states. So in England, the administration of justice system is disorganized. So what the French or the Normans have done then, they have sent the judges in. The French people are more civilized than the Britain. So then what they have done, they sent their judges to the small parts of the England, which are basically called as villages. Okay. So after going through the villages or going to the villages, what the judges have done, they gathered information and noted down them in impartial manner. No partiality, nothing. They just have gathered information the how the villagers impart justice to their people, what methods they have used, what they does then to achieve justice and all, they just have noted down. Okay. Like for example, in a village there is, say, some kind of case is there, A versus B, the fact of the case is this, and we have given such decision, and our decision is based upon such logic and reasoning. So all these things, if there are multiple cases like this, whatever I am giving as an example or instance, so all these things are being recorded, and those recordings are recorded as an impartial manner. When the judges are recording, they were not using their mind or their logic, their reasonings. Whatever the people narrated, they just have recorded, and all those recordings by time has become precedent. Nowadays for us, what is precedent? Precedent is the judgment law or the decision pronounced by an apex court. So after noting all these facts, circumstances, decision of particular manner from the very grassroots level, those recordings, those facts, those decisions and the logic behind that decision have been used as or presented as precedents. Okay, and what are the like basic object behind that precedence? To enforce people's rights and their duties, because law of tort basically emphasizes upon people's right and the duties. You have right, enjoy it, nobody is going to interfere. Along with your right, you have a duty not to interfere with any other's right. So by all these precedents, by all these noted facts, decisions, logic, reasoning, the people, the law of tort, the first, like it was not named then, but there is some set of principles are laid out, which principle emphasizes upon people's right and their duties. Okay, so in this process only the law of tort has been evolved. And if you clearly observe, in law of tort there is no codification of law, there is no section, there is no provision, there is no act, there is no legislation, because this law is purely this law is evolved through case laws, one only case laws. That's why law of tort contains so much case laws. Okay, there is no provision, there is nothing codified in this, but in India we have codified it somehow, like Motor Vehicle Act, Consumer Protection Act, Food Adulteration Act, etc., etc. We have codified it partially. But if we look after the pure law of tort, there is no codification, only case laws. Even when we proceed the further, we can only go through case laws, and whatever principle it's laid down, there are multiple case laws behind it. So in law of tort, you really need to understand, you really need to remind a lot of case laws. Okay, understood? Is this understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now the next thing, now it is been evolved in England and it worked out. Okay. So then how it come to India? Okay, so to understand how it come to India, we need to understand what is the administration of justice system, or the position of administration of justice system in India. Okay, so the law of tort in India has evolved in three phases. Okay, though in our country India there is no express term law of tort is being used, but it was there from ancient era to the modern era. Yes, Britishers has implemented it, Britishers has given it a name and all, but it was there like in a very distorted manner. We could not recognize it as a law, but it was there. So if we go to the ancient era, in ancient era what happened in India, there is a monarchical form of government was there. So what happens? So basically what happens there, so the people believe that king cannot do anything wrong. Okay, and king is the legislature, the executive and the judicial. The king makes law. If the king wants, he could only implement the law. And if the law is being violated, the king is the only person who can give you justice. So everything is in the hand of the law. Sorry, hand of the king. Okay, so the point was that, so the king was the person who gives people justice. How the king does it? From prior experiences, from prior known facts and etc. So the way in Britain the villagers or the small portions of small parts of the Great Britain, how their administration of justice was there, in ancient India the system was similarly the same. The king, after listening to the people's if the people is aggrieved, if anyone is aggrieved, that person has come to the king, and after listening to that person, then the king logically with reason decides whatever recourse that person should get, and then that person would get that recourse. So it was there in ancient India, but it was not recognized. But in medieval India, the position started getting changed. Why? Because the medieval India is full of invaders. India was not in one hand. India is being invaded. So when the outsider rulers are invaded India, so the development of that this kind of remedial law was not good, because the kings, they are mostly like they are indulged in like acquiring territories, to like breaking temples and harassing people, torturing them, exploiting them. So law and order situation in medieval India was not that good. And one more thing, as Mughals and the Muslim rulers are mostly that time, they are like the rulers and kings of India who are mostly Muslims. So their the laws are kind of rigid. Even nowadays, the laws of Arab and the Muslim states, they are very much rigid. So they apply the principle an eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth. Okay, so there is very like strict rule. If you theft someone's property, if you steal someone's property, your hand should be cut down. So the laws are like that. So there is no system of compensation, no system to make the person who is the culprit to realize whatever wrong or whatever guilt he or she holds. There is no portion for that. It was very direct thing. If you steal, your hand should be cut down. If you kill someone, you would be killed. So there is no place for compensation, and the law and order situation was not then in a very good position. Then in modern India, in modern era, Britishers have started ruling India, and Britishers have had introduced law of tort in India after invading India. And it is a principle, law of tort is a principle that is completely based on the principle of common law. Principle of common law is a kind of law of England in which, like the principle, basic principle of common law, that all persons shall get equally opportunity to present before the court or administrative of justice system. Okay, and it was being introduced in India by the Charter of 1726. And what happened? In three presidencies, then there were presidency towns like Kolkata, Madras, Bombay, they have presidency towns. So in three presidencies of India, courts are being established as a name of mayor courts. Okay, and in mayor courts, the law of torts are being applied. So if you had suffered any kind of loss, just go for the law of tort recourse or remedy, then you will get the compensation. Okay, and the law of tort basically is a precedent ruled law, or it is a judge made law. There is no codification, no law of tort is not going to be available as a book, because there is no codification. These are only made through the facts, circumstances, and the reasoning and logic applied by the judge. And this particular law is based on the principle of justice, equity, good consent. So this principle we have read in Hindu law, Muslim law. This principle is a very important principle of sources of Hindu law and Muslim law. So likewise in law of tort, whatever laws or whatever principles we are going through, all these principles are made through, or all these principles are based upon justice, equity, and good consent principle. So this is the evolution, or this is the what we can say, it is the historical evolution, or this is the uh, how law of tort is being established in India. This is the roadmap. So till now, everything is clear? Understanding everything?
Yes, ma'am.
Then the next thing is, so we have meaning, definition, then characteristics, all we have gone through. So next thing is the most important portion of law of tort. What are the constituent elements of law of tort? Whenever we are talking about a wrong, always remember law of tort is a civil wrong. First thing, it is a civil wrong. So wrong means what? So it cannot be constituted without an act or omission. Okay, act or omission. Act means whatever is denied to you, or whatever is not permitted to you, you have done that particular act, and by that act you have caused such kind of damage or injury to another person. That is an act. Okay, what is omission? Omission means something, or there is a duty laid upon you, and you have not done that particular thing by which some other person has suffered some kind of loss. If we understand this from an example, for example, what is an act? So you are permitted to walk on the left side of the road. You know that. But you are like walking on the right side of the road. So when a person turned or took a U-turn, so that person has seen you, then she tried to stop that vehicle. So he suddenly pressed the brake and his tire is being slipped, his bike's tire is being slipped, and that person fell down and his hand is broken now. So you were walking on the right side of the road. That's why that person has suffered some suffered some damage. So now your act has caused that particular person to damage. So now you have done a wrongful act. Okay, understood thing? Okay. The next thing is you are supposed to wear helmet, wear seat belts while you are traveling. Because why? If you are not use this, you are breaching your duty. So we are not doing it. So if you are not wearing a helmet or keeping that seat belt intact, you have omitted some kind of provision or some kind of duty. Then your the thing by which you have caused injury, that is an omission. So you understand what is act and what is omission?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then, so the first constituent element is there must be a wrongful act. And here act means omission also. Okay. Till the time you are not going to do anything or you have not omitted a single duty, no tort or nothing can be constituted or instituted uh, like against you. So first you have to do a wrongful act. Then what kind of wrong? Because when we are talking about wrong, wrong means there are many kinds of wrong. There can be a legal wrong. Okay. There can be an ethical wrong. There can be moral wrong. So what kind of wrong is it? Whether a moral wrong is constituted law of tort. Is constituted a tort? No, it will not. Because the wrong should be a legal wrong. That's it. Like, so we are Hindu, practicing Hindu, if the person is a practicing Hindu. So morally, there is a duty imposed upon that person that whenever you see poor people, you need to help them with food or anything they need. I, being a Hindu, I did not help a poor. Someone is sitting on the bank of the road and asking for some help. I did not help him or help her. So did I do any kind of wrong?
No.
No, I would not, because that is a moral wrong. Or I have a duty to help my classmate with notes because we are in the same class. I need to help that person. That is ethically correct to help a person, but I don't want to help anyone because my mindset is that my person should not be absent in the class. If you are absent, you have to help yourself. I am not liable for that. So if I am not going to help a person with my notes, is it a wrong? No, it is not a wrong, because it is an ethical wrong. So when we are talking about that wrongful act or omission, that needs to be legal. And what is legal? What is legal means which is being recognized as legal in the law. Nowhere in our law it is being written that you need to help the beggar. No, nowhere it is written. Sometimes a legal wrong is not a moral wrong. For example, walking on the left side of the road. It is not if you are walking on the right side, it is not a moral wrong, because morally, whether you are walking on the left side or right side, that doesn't matter. But it is a legal wrong. So what is a wrongful act? To make you understand why I have given so much examples, to make you understand that when a tort is being constituted, there is a wrongful act on the very first instance. Second, that wrongful act needs to be a legal wrong. If it is an ethical wrong, if it is an oral wrong, no matter whatever you are doing, but that should be illegal. And that legal wrong, then the third thing is that legal wrong, to what thing or a person's, what is being affected, or what property or what thing with a person is being affected by that wrong. So it may affect or it may damage the body, property, or reputation of the person. Three things. Okay, by doing a wrongful act or omission, you are affecting or you are damaging someone's body, someone's property, or someone's reputation. Okay, Achha. Then there is a question, what are the torts or wrongful acts relating to the body of the person? Okay, for only civil wrongs we are talking about, but if we go to criminal, there are a lot of things have come. But in case of civil wrong, in case of body, there can be assault. Assault means you are trying to hit someone or trying to use force against someone. There is another thing that is called battery.
Ma'am,
When
your
you
voice is not audible.
voice is not audible. Now am I audible? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Now am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So please let me know from where you have not heard. From there I will repeat.
Ma'am, your presentation is not visible.
I'm sorry. One second. Okay. Now it is visible. I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So when you are doing a wrongful act or an omission, you need to affect or damage someone's body, property, or reputation. Okay. Achha. So for body, we have some kind of civil wrongs like assault. Assault means when you try to you use force against someone. That is assault. Just you have raised that hand, but you have not slapped. You are only raised that hand. And by your hand raising, the another person has felt some kind of fear and stress. That is assault. What is battery? Battery means when you raise the hand and you slapped. That is in civil wrong or in law of tort, that thing is called battery. Okay? And there are many other tort which affects the human body, etc. We will read it like when we go further, we will read everything. Then property. There is a tort called trespass. Without your permission, without your consent, if someone gets into your property. In case of immovable property, in case of movable property, if someone takes your property without your consent or without your permission, that is trespass. And there are other torts also in case of property. Nuisance is there. If someone is throwing garbage near your house, if someone is disturbing you, if there is noise pollution by someone, if your neighborhood people, they are not cutting the obnoxious tree which is being growing in their like area or in their territory, So everything is, nuisance is also a law of tort. Sorry, nuisance is also a tort which affects the property, etc. Then reputation. For reputation, we have defamation. If someone speaks or if someone writes anything against you which defames your reputation or which is purely defamatory, that is defamation. Then there is another dot which affects the reputation, that is malicious prosecution. What is malicious prosecution? When someone like initiates a fake proceeding in your name. For example, I have some kind of grudges on you. I go to the court and file a fake case in your name. That is called malicious prosecution. So these are the kind of torts which are being can be done against the body, property, and reputation. So all these are wrongful acts, and these wrongful acts are like going to damage or damages someone's body, property, or reputation, and that wrongful act or omission needs to be a legal wrong or a legal omission. There is no place for ethical wrong and ethical omission. Understood till now?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Then the second constituent element. Okay, what is the second element? That is, there is a legal remedy. Whatever wrongful act is being committed against you, you always have a remedy which is a legal remedy. Then also it must be a legal remedy. There is no place for like I can't, or someone can't say in the court that I am a beggar, I was not being given a particular thing of a particular person, I want remedy. No, you can't seek remedy. So your remedy needs to be legal, or the remedy you are going to ask, that also must be recognized by law. If the law does not recognize any remedy, you will not get anything. That is so simple in the talk. Okay. Okay. So what are those legal remedies? So you can go for suit for damages. So now another question is, what is this damages? Tell me what is damages. If you have like attended the last class, you must know what is damages.
Ma'am, hello.
Very good, very good. That
The
compensation.
compensation that is being paid by the defendant
Very
to
good.
the
That is
plaintiff.
compensation. Yes. So when damage means loss, damages means compensation. Just to keep it in the mind. So you will go for a suit for damages. Okay, and damages is always not about compensation. Sometimes you want court to give an order on your favor. For example, last class we have discussed what damages can be: compensation, it can be injunction, it can be any kind of restrictions we can seek for. Okay, so second thing is that you must have a remedy, and that remedy needs to be a legal remedy, that you can go to the court and you can file a suit for compensation or any other remedy which you want the court should give you, or court should order on your favor. Okay, and last thing is, there is a loss or a damage has done or has incurred towards the plaintiff. Okay, the plaintiff must have suffered some loss. So the biggest question has arisen here: if an act is being done and the plaintiff has not suffered any kind of loss, can it be a tort or it is not? Okay, so that we are going to discuss here. So the loss of the plaintiff is being divided into two types. Whatever is written in this screen. So the Loss can be an injury or it can be a damage. So here it is written what? Injuria and damnum. So these are Latin terminology. So injuria means, in Latin injuria means injury and damnum means damage. So what is, try to understand what is injury and what is damage and what is the basic difference between injury and damage. So injury is basically what? There is, you have a legal right and that right is being infringed. That is injury. For example, you are legally entitled to enter into your college. You have an iCard, you are being enrolled, you are a student there, you are going to the class every day. One day, for example, when you are going to enter into your college premises, the security guard will stop you there and will tell you that, Soumya, you can't enter. Okay? So when you want to know the reason why you can't be entered, no reason would be given to you, or the reason that person has provided you or given you that not sufficient or satisfactory for you, he just have stopped you. So in that scenario, just imagine what happened. Or if we see this situation on a very legal perspective, what happened? So one of your legal right is being violated or infringed. You are legally entitled to get into the college premises in the college hour, that is from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And at that particular time, you are being denied to getting or denied to get in. So what is the thing now? The thing is now your legal right is violated. So you have suffered an injury. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And one more thing, remind that the injury not always comes with a damage. Sometimes there is no loss, there is no monetary loss, there is no monetary damage, but your right is being violated. For example, if you are being stopped, do you suffer any kind of monetary loss?
No, ma'am.
No, nothing. But your right is being violated without any monetary loss. So injury can be happened with damage. Injury can also be happened independently. Okay, this point you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Then damage or damage. What is that damage? Damage is purely monetary loss. Okay, whenever you have suffered some kind of monetary loss, that is damage. For example, you are riding a bike and you met with an accident. That is your damage. Okay, you have bought something from a store, that product is not working efficiently. That is a damage because you have suffered some monetary loss. And vice versa also, damage is also not comes with injury every time. Sometimes your legal right is not violated, but you have suffered some kind of damage. Understood? For example, if I give you a real life example, there is a shop somewhere. For example, the name of the shop is Mini Bazaar or anything. Mini Bazaar, okay. Take that name, Mini Bazaar. There is a shop is there. So in that locality, Mini Bazaar is the one and only shop. So each and every one of that locality, they are going to Mini Bazaar because it is a one and only shop. Everything is available in that shop. So everyone is going there. It is, for example, it is a coffee shop. Then another shop is being started or is another shop has opened near the Mini Bazaar. Okay, so the name of that shop is Big Bazaar. And in Big Bazaar, the price was much more lesser than the Mini Bazaar. So, and the quality and the availability, everything is like the Mini Bazaar, but the price point was little bit lesser than the Mini Bazaar. So what people does in Indian mindset, we only prefer the things which are cheap and reasonable. So people started going to Big Bazaar rather than Mini Bazaar. Okay. So from this scenario, tell me, does any right of the shop owner of the Mini Bazaar is being violated? କିଛି ବି ରାଇଟ୍ ତାର ଭାଓଲେଟ୍ ହେଲା କି ବା ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ବିଗ ବଜାର ଯେତେବେଳେ ଓପନ ହେଲା बिग बाजार जो ओनर अच्छी से मिनी बाजार ओनर किसी राइट भायोलेट करिछि कि
हमटे बुझी हेलानी तो
बुझी पड़ना ठीक बुझो फॉर एग्जांपल there is a shop. Okay, just imagine there is nothing or there is no shop than this shop in this area. So everybody is depending upon the shop. Okay, let's forget about shop. Okay, just imagine in your college area there is a Starbucks, coffee shop, Starbucks. Okay, and in your like lunch hour or your break time, you people or the students of Madhusudan Law College, they have no options rather than Starbucks for coffee and refreshments. They used to go for Starbucks. The price was a bit higher, etc. Everything is point is there, but the quality and the availability of things and the ambience, everything is good in Starbucks. So people don't consider that price, and even there is no other option. So people usually refer Starbucks. For example, this is the road and the Starbucks is here. Another shop named Ludo Cafe has opened. Okay, now Ludo Cafe's ambience is like Starbucks. Okay, availability like Starbucks, variety like Starbucks, taste like Starbucks, but the price point, it is cheaper than Starbucks. Okay. So now what the students does, they started switching from Starbucks to Ludo Cafe. लोक कहउछन्ती हमको जदि कम प्राइस रे सेतिकी क्वालिटी मिलुची, why do I go to an expensive place? Obvious, that is mindset of customer. Now I want to ask you, if people started switching from Starbucks to Ludo Cafe, will Starbucks face damage? Will Starbucks face certain damage, monetary loss? Yes or no?
Yes, to ma'am, Starbucks yes.
Obviously, if there is any monetary loss, or which we say that damage. Yes, obviously. My second question is whether any legal right of the Starbucks owner is being violated. तार किसी right violate ହେଇଛି କି by the owner of Ludo Cafe? किसी right violate ହେଇଛି କି Starbucks ର owner ର?
मैम जिति मैम लूडो कैफे टा ओपन हैला मैम एट द सेम मैम जगह रे मैम दीटा कैफे टा होची मैम स्टारबक्स रो मैम मॉनेटरी लॉस हैला बट मैम से तो डैमेजेस माने को माने मैम नहीं परिबोनी ना मैम लूडो कैफे रु तो
नहीं सेटा तो पर कथा हैला मो क्वेश्चन होची तार किछि लीगल राइट वायोलेट होची कि या ओनर रो स्टारबक्स ओनर रो किछि लीगल राइट वायोलेट होची कि बाय लूडो कैफे ओनर?
नो मैम
नो, वेरी गुड. ओके, नो, बिकॉज शॉप ओपन करिबा, बिजनेस करिबा, कंपटीशन करिबा, दैट इज लीगल. सो नो राइट ऑफ द Starbucks owner is being violated. Okay, so my point is, even sometimes you have suffered damage, but you have not suffered injury. Understood? Sometimes there are three scenarios. Then we have three scenarios. One is sometimes you will face both injury and damage. That comes together. Sometimes there is only injury, there is no damage. Third one is there is damage, but there is no injury. So now you understand three scenarios?
yes ma'am.
Okay. Achha. So why you make you explain or why you make you understand these three scenarios? Because now whatever we are going to discuss, that is the part of these three scenarios. So what? That is types of tort. Okay. So in types of tort, we have two types. There is one tort which is actionable per se. Whatever it is written, actionable per se. What do you mean by, or what do we mean by actionable per se? Means when a wrongful act is being committed, that's enough. Whether you have suffered any kind of injury, any kind of loss, that is immaterial. ओके प्लस अगर कोई आपके अगेंस्ट कुछ ऐसा कर दिया जो कि एक रॉन्ग है और अगर एमिति किछि जदी हेछि जोटा कि गोटे रॉन्ग ताहेले संगे संगे तुमको कंपेंसेशन मिल जाय तो तमे डैम सफर करिछो कि नाही तमे लॉस सफर करिछो कि नाही किछि जिंस देखा जेबो नाही केवल तमर जदी किछि इंजुरी हेछि तम राइट वायोलेट हेछि बस तुमको मिल जाय कंपेंसेशन जेमति कि असॉल्ट माय राइट दैट nobody shall use force against me, it is my right. मो अगेंस्ट के बिना रीजन रे फोर्स माने इन्फोर्स करिवे नाही बिना रीजन रे मो अगेंस्ट के डिफामेटरी जिंस लिखिबे नाही कि कहिबे नाही एटा होचे मो राइट बिना रीजन रे के मो अगेंस्ट रे फोर्स यूज करिवे नहीं कि के मो अगेंस्ट रे फोर्स एप्रीहेंड करिवे नहीं एगुडा होचे मो राइट जदी के मो अगेंस्ट रे असॉल्ट कमिट कला कि मो अगेंस्ट रे जस्ट एप्रीहेंड कला फोर्स यूज करिवार कि के मो अगेंस्ट रे फोर्स यूज कला किए मो अगेंस्ट रे डिफामेटरी जिंस लिखिला ताले मोर कोन हैला ना इंजुरी हैला मोर डैमेज हैला कि न हैला दैट इज इमैटेरियल जेमते मु तमु कहिली तमको वॉचमैन अटके देला you have a right to get into that college premises so your right is being violated so you have suffered injury so in that case you can directly go to take action against that watchman. Nobody or no court will ask you whatever or what damage you are being taken or you are being suffered. No court will ask you. So this is the first kind of tort where there is only injury. And injury means don't interpret the word injury as a general English word. Because there is injury means there is any kind of what? Bodily injury. So injury means violation of legal right. In tort, injury means violation of legal right. Injury does not mean any owned or anything or body caught or etc. It is not being used in generally English tort. In law of tort or in general law, injury means violation of a legal right. So in case of actionable per se tort, which is actionable per se, if there is only injury and you proved in the court that a legal right of yours is being violated, you will get compensation for that. If you have not suffered any loss, nobody will ask you whatever loss you suffered. Even if you have not suffered any loss, then also you have got compensation. You will get compensation for that. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Another kind of tort, but in second term, you need to prove that you have suffered some kind of actual damage. Only my right is like violated, that is not enough. You need to prove that there is actual damage. Because in second senses, you might not have suffered any kind of injury, but there is a damage. For example, negligence, nuisance. Nuisance means someone is throwing garbage outside your wall. Okay, someone is playing loud music in your locality. Okay, someone is what other things is not not cutting a tree which is there in his compound, so that branch of the tree is coming to your window. So all these things are nuisances. But for nuisance, you have to prove before the court that you have suffered some kind of loss for the other person's act. Negligence is what? For example, you have gone to a doctor, you have paid him certain things for the treatment. So the doctor has not done the treatment properly. Then only injury is not sufficient. You have to prove whatever like injury, whatever damage you have suffered from that negligent act. Understood? Getting my point?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And next, this is the sentence. It can be asked in your exam that damage is not like this. Explain. इसको explain करो. ये आपको explain करो. एमती किछ भी आसी पारे हमारा exam. So कौन यार माने बुझिबा. Damage is not actionable unless legal rights of the plaintiff is found. So if there is only damage that cannot be actionable, or there is no compensation will be given to you if your legal right is violated. So this sentence is associated with the three situations which we have discussed. What is this? For example, one is there is injury plus damage. Okay, and this is actionable. You can go to the court and you explain everything that this injury has happened, this damage has happened, that is actionable. Okay. Second, there is injury, only injury, no damage, no damage. Like the watchman, he stopped you from entering to the college. Is it actionable? Yes, it is. Okay. Third scenario, there is only damage, but no injury. Like Starbucks and Ludo Cafe. You are doing your business, I am doing my business. There is a competition market. Whoever provides like good product with a cheaper price, reasonable price, that person will win in the market. So there is no injury, but there is a damage because a shop or a cafe has not got much more customer. So this is not actionable. Okay, now you understand the relevance of this statement. Only damage is not actionable unless a legal right of the plaintiff violated, means unless there is no injury. If your right is not being violated, if you have not suffered any kind of injury, whatever damage you have suffered, that is immaterial. Nobody is give any interest about your damage. First, you will be asked that how much or what injury you have suffered. If you have proved, then we will talk about the damage. Or if there is no damage, then also that's fine, you will get compensation. But if you have only damage but no injury, nobody will going to give you any kind of recourse. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. From these three scenarios, like injury, damage, injury, no damage, damage, no injury, two legal maxims are made out. Two legal maxims. What are those maxims? One is damnum sine injuria. Second one is injuria sine damnum. So you have heard about those maxims in class?
Yes, ma'am.
You must have. So do you like understand what they want to like depict? What meaning they like throws? Do you have any idea?
Damnum sine injuria means damage without injury.
Very good.
Ma'am, here the damage is happening without any injury, like
Like this situation. Like this
Starbucks.
situation. Like this situation, na? The thing I am underlining. Isn't it? There is damage but no injury. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Then what is injury assigned damnum?
Ma'am, injury without damage.
There is injury without damage. Like this situation, there is injury, but there is no damage. Okay, so you have basic concepts. Your basic concepts are clear.
Ma'am, can we give the Starbucks and the Ludo Cafe example in damnum sine injuria?
Yes, yes, you can. That is the example only you can give there. Damnum sine injury. There is a case law also like this scenario which I have created here through by Starbucks and Ludo Cafe. That is Gloucester Grammar School. Have you heard that? This name of this case, Gloucester Grammar School.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. In this situation also there is a school which is being preferred by everyone and another school is being opened. So what happened? People started switching to the new school. So the old school has suffered some kind of loss and he has filed a suit in the name of the old school has filed a suit in the name of the new school. But the court held that there is no injury or no legal rights is being violated of the owner of the old school because competition is legal, competition is fair. So that damage cannot be incurred. So you can give that like example in damnum sine injuria or where is damage or no injury. So we now go to discuss these two like maxims in detail. Okay. So first is damnum sine injuria, which is called damage without injury. Sines mean without. So what the maxim wants to depict that there is actual or substantial loss can be happen without any infringement of any legal right. Right infringement habani, but still कौन हबा तमे किछिटा actual किबा substantial loss incur करी. Okay. जदि तमे एमती actual किबा substantial loss भी occur करूछ बा incur करूछ without any infringement of right, then it cannot be accident. Clear thing जोटा कि हमें previous slide रे बुझिले. Starbucks आउ यार example. और ए particular maxim रे हमको एतिकिटा case को पढ़िया को पड़िबो because these are some of the important case laws. जेमति कि एटा मु तुमको already कहि सारले. Gloucester Grammar School case. ए केस रे कहा हितला जेमति दीटा स्कूल थिला ते दीटा स्कूल रे जो ओल्ड स्कूल थिला तार बहुत माने बहुत ही preferable थिला. That school was more preferable. Then a new school is being opened, so people started switching from old school to new school. The old school has filed a suit in the name of the the old school has filed a suit in name of the new school. That we are being suffered financially because of opening up this school, so that school needs to compensate us. The court held that there is no need to compensate. Why? Because there is no infringement of legal rights. So the new school has established according to the law, number one. Then whatever the new school is doing, and one more thing is being involved in this case, Rochester Grammar School case, the new school's fee structure is more reasonable than the old school's fee structure. So the court held that if someone is opening a school or a shop or anything, that person has independence or freedom to fix the fee structure or fix the price point. So we are no one to interfere with that thing. So here there is no infringement of legal rights. That's why no compensation should be granted. So the Gloucester Grammar School shall not get any compensation in this particular case. And there are other cases also, like in Mughal Steamship Code case, what happened that in Mughal Steamship case, what happened? So there is a like port. Okay, in port there is an association who what they does that माने जहाजर जो जिंस को माने बैंक को माने पोर्ट को जो जिंस अनलोड करा जाए अपलोड अनलोड जो जिंस करा जाए तापे किछटा जो स्टीवेडर कंपनी थांते से माने ये जिंस बुझ मोगल स्टीम से केस रे कहला किछि ग्रुप ऑफ के स्टीवेडर कंपनी बा लोक से माने मिसी के गोटे एसोसिएशन बनेले आउ गोटे लोक को पूरा पूरी आउटकास्ट करते तो एबे कौन कले जो टेंडर गुड़ाक आसला एमाने एज एन एसोसिएशन से टेंडर गुड़ाक नहीं गले तो से जो इंडिविजुअल जे आउटकास्ट हेगी थिला ताकू कोनोसी टेंडर आउ मिल जाए सो जेते ताकू टेंडर मिलिलानी बाय द टाइम तो से कौन कला बहुत सारा लॉस सफर कला ऑब्वियसली तार धीरे धीरे फाइनेंशियली से वीक हे गला तो सेमा से कौन गला ए जो एसोसिएशन थिले स्टीवेंडर एसोसिएशन तांको अगेंस्ट गोटे केस फाइल कला जे माने ग्रुपिज्म करिकिना मते किछि टेंडर नवाकू दउना ये केस रे भी कोर्ट सेम जिनस हेल्प कर कि एसोसिएशन फॉर्म करिबा कॉम्पीट करिबा इज नॉट इलीगल so whatever they are doing they are taking tenders by like through making or forming a group that is not illegal so here no legal right of the plaintiff is violated तो ए जगह रे भी कहला ना कंपेंसेशन दबा को कोर्ट मना अंडरस्टूड
यस मैम
ओके देन द लास्ट केस इज उषावेन वर्सेस भाग्यलक्ष्मी चित्र मंदिर ये दीटा केस भी सिमिलर फैक्ट्स उस पे मैं डिस्कस करूंगी तुमको केस लॉ पूरा फैक्ट डिसीजन सहित दे नोट्स उषावेन वर्सेस भाग्यलक्ष्मी चित्र मंदिर केस रे कहला उषावेन जो लिखा है उषावेन इज समवन हु कम्स फ्रॉम एन नॉन गवर्नमेंटल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एनजीओ सो देन ए फिल्म इज बीइंग लाइक पब्लिश्ड जो फिल्म का नाम थिला जय संतोषी मां आगर बहुत थोड़ा टीवी रे भी देछि जय संतोषी मां गोटे फिल्म थिला फिल्म ना प्लॉट कोन थिला जे देयर इज अ गॉडेस कॉल्ड संतोषी मां एंड संतोषी मां एज ए गॉडेस इज वेरी जेनरस taking care of his devotees etc that's why goddess Lakshmi and goddess Saraswati is very much jealous about goddess Santosh so this was the plot of the movie so by like looking at the plot of the movie Usabel has filed a case or sorry a suit in the name of Bhagyalakshmi Chitra Mandir. Bhagyalakshmi Chitra Mandir was the producing house of that film Joy Santoshi Ma. A suit is being like filed. So in this case what happened? Court held that the like Chitra Mandir, Bhagyalakshmi Chitra Mandir, the defendant is not entitled to give any kind of compensation because yes, the religious feeling of the plaintiff is being violated. Obviously, I have a religious feeling. If I am a Hindu, I could not see that goddesses are getting jealous of each other. That is not the core principle of Hindu law. But the religious feeling is not coming under law of tort. Because law of tort only recognizes what I have told you, legal rights, violation of legal rights. So if someone's religious feeling is being violated, nowhere there is a legal right. Okay, understood things? So religious feeling is not a legal right. Whatever your religious feeling, that is not a right of you. You can feel in a particular way. So that's why the court here recognized that no legal right is being violated in this particular case. So there is no provision for compensation and no compensation is being granted. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, बुझेला clearly?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt regarding एतिके जो जिनसा में चाहता पढ़िले? Is there any doubt?
No, ma'am.
के मु तुमको जेतिके लास्ट क्लास और आजिरो क्लास रो नोट्स दे दोछि ओके सो तुमको केमती नोट्स दरकार तुम जदि कहबो मु तुमको आगुआ भी पूरा यूनिट 1 रो भी नोट्स दे परिबे सो सेमती दरकार ना जतिके पढ़ा है जे सेतिके नोट्स
मैम से टिके यूनिट टा दे दे
पूरा यूनिट रो दे ठीक है तुमको पूरा
मैम
यूनिट
ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ क्वेश्चन ଥିଲା मैम टॉट रे तो मैम बहुत सारा केस लॉस आसीबो मैम ताले से केस लॉस को मैम माने मन केमती रखिया मैम माने एई फैक्ट्स एई केस रही जजमेंट एई केस
टिके सेटा को प्रैक्टिस करिया को पड़िबो हैला तपाईं किछि आउ किछि वे के मेथड नाही तो आउ गोटे मु तुमको दे तीनटा लाइक ये सिखै दे परिबी जो थरे तमे टिके करि पारिबो जिंस के सबु मनर फॉर एग्जांपल तुमको गोटे जिंसर फैक्ट मन अछि हैला तो तुमको तार केस रो साइटेशन मन पड़नी कि ए वर्सेस बी कि सी वर्सेस डी एटा मन पड़ हैला तो तमे नॉर्मली इन ए केस लिखि कि ना से पूरा फैक्ट को एक्सप्लेन करके लिखि दे पारि सेतिरे भी मार्क मिले
यस
हैला
मैम।
तमे जदि एमती लिखि ना एटा तमे लिखि दे परिबो कि इन ए केस this is the fact of the case, this is the decision of the case एटा कर किंतु जेमति कि जो ग्लॉचेस्टर ग्रामर स्कूल केस हला मोगुल स्टीमशिप केस हला उषाबेन भाग्यलक्ष्मी चित्रमंदिर केस ए एक्शन बंडल की चेजमो रिचर्ड न लिखले चल पर ये जो केसेस गुडा केतडा केस अछि यू हैव टू राइट हला ताकू ना लिखिले नोबडी कैन डज एनीथिंग जेमति आ गुडे केस हमें पढिबा रेलैंड वर्सेस फ्लेचर एब्सोल्यूट लायबिलिटी सॉरी एब्सोल्यूट कुछ स्ट्रिक्ट लायबिलिटी एब्सोल्यूट लायबिलिटी सेमति दीटा केस आसीबो इंडियन केस आसीबो हला केतडा एमतिया केस अछि यू नीड टू राइट सर को कहीं आउ तार किछ शॉर्टकट नै तुमको लिखिया को पड़िबो तो ट्राई टू रिमेंबर अगर किछ शॉर्टकट नै जेमति ग्लॉचेस्टर ग्रामर स्कूल केस तमरा मन रहि गेला रहिला ना नै
यस मैम।
ओके सेमति उषा बेन भाग्यलक्ष्मी चित्र मंदिर मन रही जिवो ट्राई टू राइट 3 केसेस एट लीस्ट मैं जो भी मैक्सिमम एक्सप्लेन करूछ कि जो भी थ्योरी एक्सप्लेन करूछ त तीनटा केस एट लीस्ट लिखिया को ट्राई कर दैट इज एनफ तो तीन रो जदी अधिक लिखुछ तो लाइक यू आर डूइंग समथिंग एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी बट तीनटा केस सबले लिखिया को ट्राई करबो दैट विल गिव यू सफिशिएंट मार्क्स हैला तो ये
मैम
कुछ
मैम गोटे मैम माने पैराग्राफ देखिरे फैक्ट्स लिखिबार अछि ना मैम दीटा मैम माने एमती टिके बड़ करिके ताको
नहीं तमरा जहाँ अंडरस्टैंडिंग है फैक्ट ऊपर है बही रे तो ताको बहुत बळे मिसई करी बहुत लंबा करके इवन बेले बेले जजेस माने कोन डिस्कस कले सेटा भी लिखि थाए हैला आमे थोड़ी रे एते जिंस कोन लिखि परिबा के केबे तो तमरा बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द फैक्ट एंड बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द डिसीजन दैट्स इट
यस मैम।
हैला तार किछ लिमिटेशन न थाए किछ पिला तमे जदी कहबा बहुत स्टोरी टेलिंग टाइप रो लिखि की गोटे फैक्ट को बड़ करके लिखिबो लिखि परिबो किछ लोक अछंती बहुत जेस्ट लिखंती मु पूरा जेस्ट लिखे 2-3 लाइन कि 5 लाइन भीतर फैक्ट सरीबो 2-3 लाइन रे डिसीजन सरीबो मु जा लिखिया को चाहूची बस मो केस रो सेटा सपोर्ट करिया दरकार दैट्स आ तमे जतले माने गोटिए केस रो धर फॉर एग्जांपल एमते मु कहि दूची तो गोटे केस लिखुछ प्रथमे एया करिवो लिखिबो हेडिंग केस लॉस ता तळे गोटे गारो दबो हला तापरे तार तमे तीनटा केस लिखो नंबर 1 ए वर्सेस बी एठू लिखिबा जम्मा स्टार्ट करिवो नै बिकॉज़ केबे भी को टीचर माइन्यूटली पढंती मे बी तमर ई जो मिड टर्म रे पढिबे तो फाइनल ईयर केही पढंती तो जत्ते बेले तमे जहां भी लिखुछ तमे देखेबा दरकार टीचर को जे मु लिखिछ पर लाइन टा ई जो एमती रोलिंग पेपर खाता पर लाइन टा पूरा छाड़िबो तापर एठी मारिबो फैक्ट फैक्ट टा लिखिबो तर तमर फैक्ट गला 3 लाइन कि 5 लाइन तापर लिखिबो डिसीजन के एठी लिखिबो दे एमती लिखि परिबो टॉटर तो तुमको मोस्टली फैक्ट लिखिया को ही पड़िबो देयर इज नो अदर लाइक थिंग फॉर एग्जांपल तमर कोडे केस रो फैक्ट मन पडुनी ठीक अछि डायरेक्टली लिखि दबो डिसीजन हला जोडा बहुत ही वेल नोन केस जंती ग्लोचेस्टर ग्रामर स्कूल हैला एक्शन वर्सेस ब्लंडेल चेजमोर वर्सेस रिचर्ड भाग्यलक्ष्मी चित्र मंदिर आदर जम्मा भी ब्लफ करिबो जणे एगुडा एमतिया केस आकु केही ना कोडी पढिथिबो तो ते जम्मा रु ब्लफ करिबो जेतिके तमे जानिछो सति लिखि बुझिउछ
यस मैम।
सो आज हमर सरला इंजुरिया साइन डैमनम नेक्स्ट सॉरी आज पढ़ले डैमनम साइन इंजुरिया नेक्स्ट क्लास पढ़िबा इंजुरिया साइन डैमनम एंड तमरो फर्स्ट यूनिट मु सरी देबे डोंट वरी 15 तारिख भीतर सरी बहुत बेसी जिंस नाही बट हां सरी ओके
यस मैम।
ठीक अछि क्लास मु वाइंड अप करछि नोट्स तुमको पठे दे मते खाली थारे टिके रिमाइंड कर दबो तुमको नोट्स पठे ठीक अछि
यस मैम।
क्लास वाइंड अप करिबा थैंक यू
थैंक यू
बाय
मैम।